Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for the next video. This is probably getting close to the end of what I'm going to show for this video. I think I've pretty much covered everything that's going to get done in here. I just wanted to go over a couple other things that I've done since last video. You can see here in front of the train station I've made some flower boxes here. I added a couple of potted trees, small pots under there, and I added those around the train station just to add a little bit more color, make things stand out a little more. It gives a little more realistic, and you can kind of see in the back behind the poles there are also a couple of potted trees in the back inside of here. I think they give it a nice finished look. And I'm liking it. I think it looks pretty good, and it makes the scene look much more alive, right? And there's our backdrop that we did last week. Now, when you get down over here, I added the chain link fence that we built a couple of weeks ago. So that's all in now. And you can see how that looks, and I think it came out pretty good. I think the overall look is exactly what I was looking for. And it's quite a long chain link fence. This is 3 feet long. And then we're going down into where we go out into the backdrop, and that's all going to be covered up. So what I'm going to do now, what I've started to do with the train station, is I want to add some taller grass right along this edge here, all along this edge in front of on this side of the fence, and maybe a little bit on the other side just to offset a little bit. Now that space is a little bit too small to just put straight static grass and get the applicator in there, and it's going to make a mess of the fence. So what do we do in that case? What we're going to do is I'm going to use grass tufts. And let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I have is I have some of these. They come in a little container, and they're little tufts, and you peel them off and you stick them down, and they make tall grass. Much like I did in this area down here. Alright, now let me back this up a little bit. So a lot of this down here, these little tall pieces right here, this one here, this, all this stuff in here, these come off of that sheet, and they come on a sheet, and that's what I used in there. I like using them a lot. I think they work really well. And they work in conjunction with the static grass that I put down in here. This is 4mm static grass. Problem is I ran out of that stuff. That runs about, I want to say about $5 or $6, $5 or $6 a pack. And I don't really want to take the time to wait for shipping, nor do I want to pay another $5 or $6 for it. So I'm going to make those tufts. And to do that, we need to go upstairs on the desk, and I'll show you how we're going to get that done. Alright, so here we are on the desktop, and let's start making those grass tufts. So what I'm going to use to do that is an old baking sheet. This is one that we've had in the house for a while, and we replaced them, and I kept the old ones. Because I figured I might be able to use them somewhere, and this is a good spot where. And this is just to contain the static grass when I start doing this. The other thing I want is a piece of wax paper. This just ordinary wax paper from the grocery store, and I cut a small sheet of it, and I'm going to put that in the center of the pan. And I'm going to tape that down in the corners because we don't want that to move around on us. So I'm going to put a piece of tape in each of the corners. Okay. So now this is what we have. We have a baking sheet with a piece of wax paper in it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little sheet of paper and I'm going to get some white glue. I usually use Elmer's glue. This is Elmer's glue. It's just in a different bottle because I ran out and I wanted the bottle for the Elmer's. So when it empties, I just refill it. Now I'm going to take a little bit and I'm going to put it right on the paper here, like that. And I'm going to take a Q-tip, just a plain old Q-tip. I'm going to dip that in the glue, like this. And we're going to take this and we're going to put spots of glue on here. And the glue is how big your tufts are going to be. Alright? So you can vary the sizes however you like. And you can make different shapes of this stuff. Now I know going along the fence I'm going to want some longer pieces. So I'm going to do some of these. We'll stick with that for right now. Now what I need is my static grass applicator. Now this is one that I made. I made this. This isn't a store-bought one. And if you want to know how this gets made, well, you can look it up on YouTube here. There's probably several dozen videos on how to make these. And it works pretty good. I've been using it. I like it a lot. Now in that applicator, I'm going to use this. This is 4 millimeter long static grass. This is just what I'm using. I think it looks right for what I've got going on. This is what the tall grass you see in the train yard. This is how it comes. So we're going to use this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up my applicator. I'll put a link to the static grass underneath the video in case you're wondering what it is I'm using. And so look for that at the end. So we're going to throw some grass down inside of here. Now I do this in the baking sheet because these fibers are very small and they tend to get everywhere. It kind of makes a mess. Now I'm going to take this little alligator clip here and we're going to clip it right to the pan. Right here like this. Alright. Now I have an on-off button right here, and then there's a small light that lights up right here when it's running. Okay, so I'm going to take this and we're just going to go over the glue spots. Alright, so I'm going to stop at that. I'm going to disconnect this and we're just going to shake off the extra grass. Now on this one I'm going to add a little bit more of a different grass. So what I have here, this is Woodland Scenics, and this grass is about 2 millimeter, between 1 to 2 millimeter. It's very short. So I'm going to take some of this. Let me empty out what's in here. And we're going to add a little bit of this. So you can see it's a little bit darker. It's a little more brown. And throw some of that in here and close this up. And we're going to hook it up again. And we're going to add this to the same piles. And that's what we have. So that's it for that. So we'll shake off the extra. Now all of this extra grass down at the end here, I keep a little cup. I have a small cup here. Alright. And I'm just going to shake all that off. We don't want to throw that away. That's all good grass to use. And the fact that it's mixed sizes is just fine. You can use this over and over and over. And the mixed sizes just gives you a little variety in your grass. I think it just gives you a better look. And this is what you end up with. Like that. So we got some nice little tufts going on. And they look pretty good. So now this needs to dry. Well, as long as it takes for the white glue to dry, depending on where you are, the humidity and all. I let it sit for 24 hours. I'll let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'll come back to this and we can actually start pulling these off. So why don't we come back when this is dry? Alright, so I cheated a little bit. I actually made one last night, and this is what it is. This is how it came out. So you can see it looks a little different than the one we actually put together just a minute ago on the video. So you can see it's all there. So now we have our grass tufts, and then all you need to do is you just pluck these off. Grab it and pull it right off, and there's your grass tuft, just like that. Just like that. And that's it. That's all there is to it. The white glue dried. You can see it on the bottom here. And the white glue dried. It dried clear. And then we have the tuft right here. And there you go. And that's it. Now we'll just take these downstairs to the fence and start gluing these in along the fence. Now I have the long ones like I showed you. We can pull these off. Let's see if I can get one of these off. Yeah. There's a longer one. Alright. And that saved me, I don't know, like $6, and I don't have to wait for shipping. So there you go. They're actually pretty good. I like them. I hadn't done this before. This is my first attempt at this, and I think it came out pretty good. Just be aware if you're going to do this, the glue will pull up and it'll make small spots on the wax paper like this. So obviously we're losing a little bit of the wax on the paper when you peel these off, but it doesn't seem to be enough to be a problem underneath them. So I did try to do these on a more of a plasticky material, and it just didn't work. They wouldn't peel off just right. Wax paper seems to be about the best for me. That's what I'm going to go with. And I'm going to take this pile and the previous pile that we just put together, and I'm going to go plant those down in front of the fence, right along the fence, and we're going to get all that done. Okay, so that's all the static grass. Now I just wanted to do a quick thing on, let me put this away. The next thing I wanted to just give a quick look at was the flower boxes that are in front of the train station and the potted trees. If you are interested in how those got made, the flower boxes are made with this. This is just strip styrene, 60 thousandths thick by 156 wide. And all I did was I took a strip of this. I measured out how long they needed to be. All right, so this would go like this. I cut it off, and then how wide they need to be. And then I cut off some shorter pieces, and I glued those and made rectangles. Okay, so the two front long boxes are about this long, about that wide. I believe scale feet wise, I want to say they're about probably about 2 scale feet deep from front to back, and then maybe about 8 to 10 feet long, maybe a little longer. And then the shorter boxes on the sides are the same 2 feet deep by, you know, whatever fit over there. I didn't really measure. I just kind of went down there and fit this in there for length and just marked it with a pencil. I think they're about 1 inch long. So I made the rectangles out of these. So, you know, you have the rectangle, and then I have 10 thousandths styrene sheet. And then I glued the rectangles to the top of the sheet, and then I just cut them off the sheet after they were glued down. I cut them off the sheet and just sanded them, and then I painted the whole thing concrete color. And then we filled them with this stuff. I filled them with this. This is from the same manufacturer. I'll put a link to these things. This comes from Scenic Express. And these are just flowers. They come in you know, a few different colors. This is purple and white. This one's yellow. So I just peeled off this stuff here. I talked a little bit about it downstairs. So here's a fuller sheet of it. Okay, they come on a sheet like this, and you just peel off like this. You just peel it off, and that's what you end up with. And I just filled the boxes with these. Alright, and that's all it is. Little bit of white glue in the box, and sure enough, we've got flower boxes. Now the small tree pots are a little bit different. What I did for those is I took a straw. So I had to make the pots first. All right, and I tried a few different things, and this is what we came up with. What I came up with, it's a straw, and I measured the width of this. I wanted the pots to be somewheres around 2 to 3 feet. So this ends up being, let's see, let me find my end scale. Yes, so this ends up being 3 scale feet. So the diameter of this would be a 36-inch pot. All right, so I did that. I got the straw, and I cut off small pieces of it like this. Now I actually need a couple more of these, so I'm gonna make some right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm just eyeballing for measurement. I'm not measuring any of this. It's not that precise. So now we have all of these little bits of straw. All right. Now we're going to take some of this stuff. This is clump foliage. All right, Woodland Scenics. You've probably all seen it. If you haven't used it, you probably will at some point. This is what the trees are that are in the pots. So all I do is I pull out a little bit of this. Let's say a piece like this. All right, you want to pull everything loose off of it. Get off all this loose stuff. And then we're going to take the scissors again, and I'm going to cut the bottom sort of to a point like this. I'm going to coat one of these straw bits with the glue like that, and I'm going to cram this down inside of there. Like that. Alright. And I'm going to do that for all of these. And we're going to let that dry. So we'll pull another one. And the only reason I cut this to a point is I want some of this to go down inside the straw here, because that's really what's going to anchor it. The glue holds it, but you need some sort of an anchor point inside. So you're just going to take some of this again, twist it in there nice and tight. And then we can even take some of this and run it down the inside like that. And then we're just going to let that dry. And I'll do that for the rest of these. You don't need to see. And then once this dries, once this is all dried, then we just take the scissors and cut the tree into the shape we want. And then a little CA glue on the downstairs, we take a little CA and dip the bottom into CA, and we can place it where we want it. Now, as far as the color of the straw, all I do is take a small paintbrush and the concrete color paint that I have, and we just paint the straw so it looks like concrete, and there you go. Now you have a tree in a pot. All that being said, I think that's going to be it for this video. And not only that, but I think we're gonna end with the train station. I mean, the only thing left to do with the train station is just planting all the trees. You saw how I did the crossovers over the track. So now it's just a matter of me sitting down and doing this. There's nothing really to film from here on out. So best I can say, I think, at this point for that whole project is, you know, if you haven't signed up for my website, it's mikestrains.wordpress.com. Sign up over there, and I will put up some completed photos of the whole train station and yard once it's fully complete with the trees and all the sceneries done. I'll throw a bunch of pictures up there for it. But in the meantime, I don't think there's any more video I'm going to do for that train station. I think pretty much everybody, if you've done any amount of scenery, you've all planted trees. Everybody's probably done that in one way or another. So I don't think I need to cover that. So we're going to call that done. If you're just finding me for the first time and you're liking what you see, please, by all means, subscribe to my channel. Love to have you along. Until next time, happy modeling.